Hello, welcome back to my Flosstube channel. If you can't tell, I've been under the weather. This is actually really good sounding for me for the last week. So I'm a couple days late on filming this Flosstube. I usually film on Sundays. Today is Tuesday, December 19th. And I want to go ahead and get this filmed, my update. So, hi, welcome. My name's Phoebe. Thanks for joining me on my cross-stitch Flosstube channel. Today we're going to be talking about everything that I stitched on in the last couple weeks, and then I'm going to talk about my plans for 12 by 12 New Year's Eve. And I think I have a WIP parade, an end of year WIP parade coming up for you at the tail end of this month as well. So I have some fully finishes and some finishes. A really big finish for me actually is my oldest WIP. So let's go ahead and look at these fully finishes. So I referenced these projects in either the last video or the one before, and I didn't share them with you yet because I hadn't sent them to the recipients, so now I'm going to share them. So I made some pillows. I made two of these pillows here for my brother and brother-in-law. The writing is a little bit hard to see because I stitched it with a sulky thread that is red, green, and like ecru colored. But it says make the Yuletide gay. This is part of a trio, the Happy Holidays trio from Hemlock and Rye Stitchery. And so I made those pillows. They're just stitched on 40 count, which I learned I really don't care for with sulky. Actually, it might have even been 36, but I over-dyed it, and so it was just too tight. I would rather do an undyed 36 or a 32 count with the sulky thread, but that's okay. It just made it was a difficult stitch. But I really enjoyed it, and I just finished it up in a pillow. I just put some trim around the edge and sent those off to my brothers. And then I made this pillow for my friend Heidi. She's here on Flosstube as Whips and Kits, or she's Zibizoo on Instagram. You often see her beautiful nails on my website for Moonshine Manny. And I made her this pillow because it comes from this little deer is from the Christmas parade, designed from Cottage Garden Samplings, and Heidi and I just both got a kick out of this deer. And so I stitched it up for her and made the pillow in the same way that I did the other one and sent it off to her for Christmas this year. That one was a super, super fun stitch. So love that and love Heidi. And those are my fully finishes. Next, I want to share with you my finishes. Here's the first one. I finished my anniversary piece, Pretty Little Hawaii, from Satsuma Street. I have been stitching on this project every 10th of the month for probably the last year. This is on some 14 or 16 count Aida that I just got at like Michael's or something, Hobby Lobby. And so it's stitched 2 over 1 with all of the called for DMC. Really, really pretty. And I am super pumped to have it done. There's very minimal back stitching in this project. It does make those little tiki men really stand out well. And if you haven't checked out this series from Satsuma Street, it's really awesome. She has a lot of different places there that you can stitch. And you're going to see me reference that again coming up in the end of this video in my plans section. So that is my first finished project, my first finish for the last couple weeks. Neither of these finishes are ironed because I need to wash them, and I think you don't want to iron before you wash because then you're going to iron more stains in. But this next one is especially stained, so if you guys want to give me any good hints for washing and not destroying your project in the process. Okay, so this next finish is my oldest WIP. I started this project, I believe, when my youngest was a baby. I used to be a monogamous Dimensions Gold project stitcher, so here it is. So this is Dimensions Gold Aurora Cabin, and I finished it. It only took me 8 years. I took a really big break from stitching, probably before 2020. I probably hadn't really done any major stitching for like 3 or 4 years. So anyway, this project is beautiful. I love the Aurora Borealis in here. It's so, the colors are so delicious. It's such a beautiful contrast. However, I am not excited to start another Dimensions Gold project. That's the understatement. The finished effect is so beautiful, but honestly, like, I used to be a monogamous Dimensions Gold stitcher because I didn't know what else was out there. I really only saw what I could get at Joann's or Michael's or whatever. But stitching on the same Dimensions Gold project for a long time would just kill my stitchy bug over and over in the past, and so that's why I don't stitch that way anymore. But I do really love how it turned out. Now I have to say, the amount of confetti in the trees in this piece was torturous. Absolutely torturous. That's why I saved it till the very end. I mean, it looks so, so good now. There was a bit of back stitching to do at the end, but it wasn't that bad. And then, of course, there's a trillion French knots in the sky. Now that it's all said and done, I mean, I like that it's like a starry sky, but at the same time, I don't really think you needed it. If you don't want to do the French knots in this piece, I don't think you need to, because it just really makes the sky look a little bit chaotic. Actually, are they supposed to be stars, or are they supposed to be falling snow? They might be supposed to be falling snow, even though the sky is pretty clear. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Falling snow? Stars? Anyway, I'm so excited to have it done. So I really need to get it washed up, ironed, and framed. So, yes, that is my really big finish. It's my oldest WIP. I'm so excited to have it done. I'm so excited to be able to hang it up. I actually have never fully finished any of my Dimensions Gold's finishes. I shared them in one of my very first Flosstube videos, all of my Dimension Gold finishes. But I've never fully finished them because I'm more of like a process stitcher, but I really want to get this one up. So I think that's everything I have to say about this project. The 6-stranded tent stitches were just also kind of horrendous, so yeah. A labor of love, and I'm loving that the labor is over. So those are my finishes. Sorry about my voice today, guys, and thanks for putting up with me. Honestly, I don't know that it's going to get that much better than this as we get closer to Christmas, and so I wanted to go ahead and film so that I can have that on my to-do list crossed off. And the next thing on my to-do list is working on all the baked goodies I'm planning to make. But I'm not contagious. I haven't been for a while. I've been to the doctor, but I just feel like I want to feel a little bit better before I make a bunch of baked goodies for the neighbors, you know? So, okay, those were my finishes. Next I'm going to talk about my WIP, so that stands for Works in Progress. So I basically worked on that Aurora cabin for a full week, like the whole week that I had the flu. I was working on that, so I got a lot of work done on it and almost nothing else. So I very, very rarely will stitch on something for a whole week. But I think it was MamabearStitchery, in her most recent Flosstube, she finished a big Dimensions Gold, and I was like, I can get mine out and get it finished before Christmas. So I did. So I don't have as many WIPs this time because there was so much progress put into these last these finishes that I shared with you. But let's go ahead and look at the WIPs that I did stitch on. So here is my first WIPs. This is my 1 strand a day, or 2 strands a day project. That probably subconsciously came out because sometimes I only did 1 strand on it, I think, if I really didn't have that much stitching time. This is Jenny Bean's Christmas from Shakespeare's Peddler, and it is a super fun project. It's a pretty easy project. The only kind of difficult counting part is the leaves along the side, but it is very, very cute and not too big. So I'm hoping to have this done before the end of December. Honestly, I was stitching so much on Aurora Cabin a few of the days I didn't put anything in on here, but as you can see, I'm down here in these diamonds. I'm using all of the called for thread. This is 40 count Vintage Country Mocha. So I'm using 1 strand over 2. The only floss that's not called for, I could not find at the time, Rose Garden from Gentle Arts. So this Red of the House is Red Rocks by Weeks. And that's the only thing that I subbed out. And so you will definitely see this in my next video. Hopefully it will be a finish in that one. So very much enjoying it. This is my first Shakespeare's Peddler that I started, and I plan to do many more. So here is my next project. This is the project that I stitch on the 4th every month, and I really thought that I might be able to sneak in a finish on this one. But when the 4th came around, I didn't have that much stitching time, and I decided not to keep going for a finish this month. But I don't know, maybe I will just go ahead and push through for a finish next month on it, because I really just have this little bit left to go. So this is Salute to Abigail from Blackbird Design. And I'm not using the call for flosses. I just pulled from stash during the time that I was kitting this up. This is on a piece that I hand dyed, going for a little bit of a funky colorway here on this Salute to Abigail. It's a 40 count, so I'm using 1 strand over 2. There's just 4 flosses in here, so you can just easily pull 2 blues, a Karoo color, and a red of your choosing to stitch this up. And it's a really, really fun project, as basically all Blackbirds are. So here's where I am at, and maybe this one will be another finish. Well, so my next video won't be the 4th yet by the time it's time for me to film again, but the next one, the next video. So that was WIP number 2. That pattern is found in this book, Sweet Land of Liberty, and so this has just a bunch of different patriotic designs that I can choose from to get my next patriotic stitch after this one's done. The next day of the month that has a designated stitch is the 7th of the month, because the 7th of August is my birthday. So on the 7th I stitch on my birthday piece. This is Vintage Stitches from Jeannette Douglas. So last time I had come up in here and put these grapes in, and I was waiting to get this floss in the mail, Ozark Spring from Silken Colors. And so it came in. I put these little guys in. There's tons of specialty stitches in this project, and then I came out to do these 4 corners, and they were such a pain in the butt. So this is a piece of 28 count Lugana that I overdyed, and it is just too small of a count for this lorikeet wool that they have called for in this project. So you see it here and here, and then you also see it going around here. It is so difficult to pull through because it's like a big strand of wool. You don't separate it. Here's how it looks. So I made the decision to stitch on this piece, not realizing that that was going to be such a trouble for me. But I'm getting it done. But it looks pretty poofy on this fabric, and I'm sure not as professional as it could look. But that's not really the point of this stitch for me. It's just about stitching this designer because I really like her, and the new stitches that I learned from her. Like, this is a really cool stitch. Let me pull up here. So yeah, she just has you doing all kinds of stuff. Here are those little guys that I did. And then here's this other corner. That's some Krynic, I feel like, dividing that. And then this corner. And then this corner has like that weaving aspect going on. And then I put in this back stitching here for these leaves. So that's what I did on the 7th of December for this project. I'm sure I will have it done by my birthday, which isn't until August, so I'm not like pushing quickly for a finish on this. I'm just enjoying it. This is all over one in here, so yeah, it's fun. But if I don't have to get out any more of this, I won't be upset. I probably do have to do more of it, but you know, and I could always just change the design and just do it with a different floss. But my brain thinks, well, you bought it, so you should use it. So anyway, you'll see this again in 2 weeks. And so that's my project on vintage stitches. So because this is 28 count, I'm doing 1 strand on a lot of it, but some of it has 2. I forget what. So like the crosses have 2. But like all the specialty stitches is just 1 strand, I think. On the 13th of the month, I pulled out my Halloween Quaker and I put some more into this medallion here. And this also happens to be one of the projects that I drew randomly with you last time to stitch on a little bit. And so I decided to put it on the 13th because I was going to stitch Halloween on that day anyway. Let me pull in a bit. So here's where I was stitching at. I probably only got like 6 lengths of floss in, which would be 12 strands of this black coffee, because I'm stitching 2 over 2 because this is 28 count cauldron from Picture This Plus, and I really love this project. I love Quakers. It's so enjoyable. I don't think I quite had this whole part all finished there, and now I do. I just love how that looks, the geometric designing, and yeah, just super, super loving it. I don't know what else there is to say about this one. You've seen this for a while because this was my November 2 strands a day, or October, excuse me. So, yep, I'm using all the call for floss on this, and 28 count Lugana. Cauldron looks like this, has some nice rusty modeling, and Picture This Plus is just like so soft, but it is kind of tighter. Anyway, yeah, that's that. My next WIP is All Creatures Great and Small from Barbara Anna. This has so little progress on it, it's not probably even worth showing, but I mean, I did get it out for a day and then probably didn't have much stitchy time that day. And I meant to pull it out again, but then got busy with Aurora Cabin. So I'm stitching this 1 strand over 2 and using the called for DMC. And this is just a piece of 40 count that I over dyed. It's a really nice, like a light denim blue. So yeah, I honestly can't even remember what I put in this time. I think I finished the bee. Obviously I started putting in this green here, but I don't know what it's going to be. So yeah, not a massive amount of work, and I think I'm just going to chalk that up to the fact that it's not Christmas related, and I really wanted to finish those pieces that I was doing or stitch Christmas. That is my sad little progress on All Creatures Great and Small. My final WIP is Stacy Nash Deck the Coop. Lots of dangling threads this week. I think I kept being like, oh, I'm definitely going to come back to this before my next video, so I'll just leave that there. And then Dimension Skull took over my life. So this is an adorable pattern. I'm buddy stitching this with my friend Heidi from Whips and Kits. I'm using all the called for floss. I'm stitching on this piece of, I think it's a 36 count that I dyed kind of mauve-y rosy, and it is so cute. I got the chicken in, so I don't think I touched anything up here, but I think I finished putting in that little guy, the whole chicken, brought this down and started on this bottom bordering here. So it's not a huge design. I think it's only going to go to here. And I am loving it. I just got to put the lady in next. Hello, lady. So, yeah, really enjoying call for floss, 40 count fabric. I think this is my first Stacy Nash, and I'm loving it. So hopefully this will come out again before Christmas, because I need to get some more progress on this while I'm feeling like stitching it in the Christmas time. Alright, so WIPs are done. Now I do have some haul to share with you. I totally forgot in my last video to share with you some charts that my friend Heidi from WIPs and Kits picked up for me when she was at the attic. She did a little personal shopping for me. I just kind of said, hey, look around and see what's cute and then tell me what I owe you. So I'm going to show you some things that she grabbed while she was there for me. And then we're going to go ahead and get into plans. So let's look at my little bit of haul. So here are the patterns that Heidi picked up for me at the attic. The designers that were there were Paulette Stewart from Plum Street Samplers and Alma from Blackbird. And Heidi grabbed me this pattern while she was there. So this is the New World Sampler from Plum Street, and you're going to see this come out again in just a minute when we get to plans. But I'm very, very excited for this piece. The people who I saw stitching on it, I think Christine from Hollis Hand Creates finished it a little while ago, and it is so, so beautiful. So I think a lot of these patterns that my personal shopper picked up for me were probably in the bargain area at the attic. So we have 5 Fine Roosters from La Di Da. We have Hannah Bacon from Rosewood Manor. We have Jane Pattison 1806. I love this one. This is by Shakespeare's Peddler. So pretty. Also, super love this one. It looks so awesome stitched on that dark fabric. I don't know if I would do that though, because that would be really hard for me to see. But, love those purples. It's so pretty. So that's Edith E. Nunn, 1884 from Quaint Rose Needle Arts. The Stitching Parlor, Fanny's Treasures, inspired by Jane Austen's Manfield Park. Love. Another Rosewood Manor. This is Dreaming of Roses, so soft and beautiful. Those colors are really sweet. Rosewood Manor patterns are so beautiful, and then I remember that is going to be so much stitching and take me actual forever. Another Shakespeare's Peddler. She knows I love them. This is called Antique Spring Sampler Anne Hobbs, 1834. It's kind of dark and hard to see. And then this little guy. This is the ABCs of Christmas from Heart and Hand. So cute. So that is my haul. So I have pulled 12 projects to engage in 12 by 12 on New Year's Eve. I don't know if I will get to all 12 of them, but we shall see. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the 12 kitted up projects that I am ready to start on New Year's Eve if I get the opportunity, and then I'll just see what I get to on that day. But I'm going to share that with you first, and then I'm going to talk about the other projects that I will potentially be putting my needle to in the next couple weeks, and then we're going to spin some random projects for me to potentially work on if all the other stuff that I have planned to do doesn't take up all of my time. So let's go there. Alright, I'm going to get into 12 by 12 plans. So this one might insert itself into my 12 by 12 plans if I decide that I absolutely need to start this right now. I do have a number of Plum Street Sampler things going, so maybe I should wait to finish those before I start a new autumnal Plum Street, but you might see this one started in 12 by 12. As you can tell, I don't have it kitted up yet. Okay, something that is kitted up. This is Pretty Little London from Satsuma Street. I will pop the PDF image up here. Totally different colorway with the DMCs from the Hawaii. I'm missing like 6 DMCs. They're on their way from 1, 2, 3 stitch, but I'm very, very excited to get my next anniversary piece started that will be stitched on every 10th of the month. So Tim and I were married for like more than 10 years before we ever took a trip together, and then we finally went to Hawaii for our 10th anniversary / our honeymoon. And so that's why I was stitching that piece. And then we went to London and Paris this summer and for my 40th birthday, and so I want to stitch the London piece. I also have the Paris piece if I feel like stitching that too. So I just have floss dropped these DMCs on these playing cards. This is a piece of Ada that looks very similar to the one that I stitched Pretty Little Hawaii on. So I've kept these flosses nice and long so I can do the loop start, and I'm very excited. So that will be started on 12 by 12. Here is my next planned 12 by 12 start. The swans. I'm going to stitch it on the same fabric that I did the fox. And I believe this is another Picture This Plus. It's an Ada. And all of the, I'm hoping that all of the winter pieces can fit on this one piece of fabric. So I think I should be able to fit the swan over here. The fox is already cut out of here. And then I can put the other, is it, oh, so I guess I only need to fit one other winter piece on this piece of fabric. So here are the called for, no, these are not all the called for flosses. This is my own pull. So it has a whole mix match. I think chalk is one that's called for, and Grecian gold. And then the rest of these I just chose out of my stash. So we have a good mix, like I said, of colors. We have some Be Stitch Me silks. I have a cottage garden thread in there, woohoo! So that'll be fun. That's Cole from Weeks and Garden Gate. Not a super colorful month, but that's okay. I'm going to be starting my next project in my Heritage Samplers series, and I just learned from my buddy Jan from Hoop It Up with Jan that she's also going to be stitching this for an ancestor. So that was so cool to learn from her. So my grandma on my father's side, her name is Leona. So I just need to change the last name and then put her correct birthday in there. And my plan is actually to stitch this Blackbird design all monochromatically so it fits in with my other piece that I did. So I'm going to be using Silken Colors in the Burgundy. And here is my fabric. This is just a hand-dyed piece that I did 36 count. And so it's gonna go like that. And I'm looking forward to it. So I'm gonna get my Grandma Leona's started. I am most likely going to start my next Prairie Schooler Santa during 12 by 12 so that I have it to stitch on the 25th of the month. I guess I won't be doing it this month, so I'll do it next month. So here's my other two guys that I did. My other two Santas. And I will start this guy. I'll put him right here. And it's going to use the called for DMC. This is a piece of Stormy Night, 40 count Zweigart. Okay, I think this is the only other thing that I have pulled for 12 by 12 that is not kitted up yet. But I've been really wanting to start some of the Tiny Towns from Heart and Hand. So if I feel like it, I will stitch the Christmas one, or at least start it. And it looks like this is stitched on Vintage Country Mocha, so I could put it on the same piece as my Jenny Beans Christmas if I want it to look just like that. I will probably kit this up from Stash. So this is a potential 12 by 12. Now the rest of these are all kitted up with, like, they're good to go, ready to go with the flosses and everything. These are things that I have had in my kit ups for a while and just haven't started them. And by the way, you're looking at my project bags. I just use Ziploc bags because it is the most budget friendly thing. So if I let my rule stand of only having one Hands Across the Sea project going at a time, it will take me forever to actually start this. And I've had it kitted up forever, and I really like it. And there's a giant piece of, it's a half yard in here of this smoky denim fabric that I overdyed. It's a 40 count. I could put so many projects on this, and Elizabeth Weston is just hanging on to it. So I need to start her. Here's what she looks like. She's all ready to go. She's so beautiful. So I don't think these are all the flosses. No. Here's the big old fat floss list. I don't know why. Okay, so it's not fully kitted up, but it's kitted up enough to start it. So if I end up doing all 12 on my 12 by 12, I will start this on New Year's Eve. All right, here is my next 12 by 12. This is Jane Cowie from the Scarlet House. I love this pattern so much. The colors, it's the colors. So I have the called for NPIs here. I've had this kitted up for quite a while. They're so beautiful. So I just need to start it. I need to start it. So, oh my gosh, I'm just dying for these colors. So here's just a piece of fabric that I've overdyed. It's ready to go. Potentially gonna start this on 12 by 12. Woohoo! This big daddy needs to get a start. This is a peacock, a unicorn, a badger from Scarlet Letter, and I overdyed this fabric specifically for it so I wouldn't have to stitch all the background. This is a piece of 40 count, so it's probably more like a 43 count since I overdyed it. And all of the called for DMC, which are just luscious. Luscious. So it needs to get a start. This was one of the ones that I talked about starting a few months ago, and I never did, and it needs to get a start. So that is in the plans. Okay, this giant piece of fabric has been set aside for Dutch Beauty, and I really need to start it because otherwise I could put like 5 other projects on here. So this is a 40 count that I've overdyed. I pulled my own flosses for this. Really soft, beautiful colors and there's really not that many colors. So a little bit of purple, a little bit of blue, and then some green, neutrally shades. So I'm very excited to get the big lady in there with the giant skirt. So fun. So if 12 by 12 works, we're gonna finally get Dutch Beauty started. I really love this piece of fabric. Every time I look at this, I don't think I measured right. I think Riley Harbor needs a bigger piece of fabric than this. But then I measure it and it says it's right. So I don't know. It might be on this fabric. It might go on something else, but I really wanted to do it on here because I love how it looks with the DMC. So this is Riley Harbor from Kathy Barrick. I called for DMC that are so beautiful. Oh, these colors. So delicious. So I've had this kitted up for a long time. And so yeah, it's time to get into it. That's what I think. Almost done. This is my cover sheet for this one, which is a PDF that I purchased from Stitches Through the Years. This is called the RightWay Sampler. And I just think it's so cute. I believe I have the called for flosses here, so I just need to grab another piece of fabric out for that. So that is potentially a new start. Also something I've had kitted up for a while. And finally, last up we have Abby Rose Designs. I feel like this design and this design, they're pretty similar. So I might do one and not the other, but they both could probably fit on the same piece of fabric as well. So this is For Where Your Treasure Is, and I have the flosses all in here ready to go. Super beautiful. So For where your treasure is, there will be your heart also. So I really think it's sweet. The reason these are my 12 by 12 starts is because I really enjoy both of these designers very much and haven't started anything from them yet. So if there's time, I'm going to do it. Alright, so as far as the rest of the plans, I will be stitching Christmas on the 25th. I will be probably stitching a lot of Christmas up till the 25th anyway. And maybe deck the Coop specifically that day, or Bethlehem. I'll put up here what I'm talking about. And then on the 30th, I will have my daughter Joy's project to stitch on, Blackberry House from Plum Street. And on the 31st, I will stitch some more Halloween. Actually, the 31st is New Year's Eve, so I'm going to be doing my 12 by 12, so never mind. Alright, so besides that, I'm going to draw 2 random projects with you. One is going to come from my Mania 2023. So I just click a randomized number. 21, Pumpkin House. So that'll be fun. Pumpkin House is from Pansy Patch. I really love that one. It's not huge, so I feel like I shouldn't be taking too much longer to finish that guy up. So that you'll see before the next video, or in the next video I'll get some progress on it. And then from my entire WIP list, I'm going to choose a project from there. So this is all of my WIPs, and during each of my videos I choose a random project with you. Louisa Barney, oh, that's exciting. And then after I choose it, it grays itself out, so I shouldn't get the same project again until I have gone through the whole wheel. So here's Louisa Barney, and this is by Reflet de Soie. I really would love to get some good work done on this, so we shall see. Since it's not Christmassy, I might end up doing exactly what I did with All Creatures Great and Small, but we shall see. So, okay. That concludes my plans. Alright guys, so this is by far the most talking that I've done in a whole week. And I'm ready to probably not talk for the rest of the day now. But I really appreciate you joining me, and I've missed you guys. I hope that you're having a great stitchy time, and you can look forward to a end of year WIP parade for me coming up probably next week. And then my year Flosstube anniversary comes up in May. So I'll do another one in May. So I'll kind of have the 2 for the year. So I think I need to go through my projects again, and the ones that I've decided that I'm not going to be bringing into 2024, I need to pull out those pieces of fabric and reallocate them to my fabric stash, because there are some good pieces in there being held up by projects that I just didn't even touch all year. So I think that's gonna be it. So thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I hope you're doing well. I hope if you've got this flu, which apparently the doctor said that it's just like rampant right now. I really learned my lesson that I should have got my flu shot this year. But hopefully if you're using this video to just kind of hang out and just try to ride through that flu. I know how horrible it is. I hope you're feeling better soon if that's the case. But happy holidays if you celebrate Christmas. Merry Christmas. I'll see you back for the WIP parade, and then our next regular Flosstube will basically be January 1st, I think. So I will see you then. Have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye.